Hi there, and thank you for joining us for part 2 of the interview I had with the alluring Patty Contenta, as we discuss the implications of aging, the pressures that society puts upon us, and how dancing and movement can help us connect with our inner, more authentic selves. I hope you enjoy.
And so that's what I'll provide for a woman, is to say, here are ways that you can do that and start exploring with that and see what feels right. And if as soon as it feels uncomfortable, you just come back to this. And it's a dial that you can turn up or down depending on what feels right and safe. And each time you go a little bit further and a little bit further. And so you find the safety within that. So. Right. As teachers, as leaders, as in all of our situation, what we do is create that safe place to say, come on, go with it. No judgment, no nothing. See what feels right, and then move on from there. And each time you expand and get bigger and better and brighter and radiate and all the rest of it, right? So I think I answered your question.
Yeah, I love it.
I'm not sure.
Love it. No, it's good, because I saw even just in your group class that you did today with our students, just that little bit of the elbow, and you can see you can just see that. And I think, when you think about these kinds of what you provide for women, I think in society, people think, I'm like, should I use this as an example? Let's say Jennifer Lopez. And people are always talking about, we could talk about, oh, should she dress like that? She's a mom. She's in her 50s. That, is there an expiration date on women? Like, almost like women have to find permission to do that, because we live in a society where we're constantly being judged, or, oh, you're too old, or you're too young, or you're too this, or you're too that.
Yeah, sure.
So with what you provide for women, I just think it's so meaningful. And, I don't know, it just makes me think about that. When you get to a certain age where you're just all of a sudden like, how should I dress? Like, where do you, because I think when women get to 50, it's almost like, where do I fit in? I don't feel old, don't feel young, but where do you fit into all of this?
Yeah.
You must find that, I would imagine, a lot.
For sure. And I went through that too when I was transitioning to that other stage of my life, right? And so one of it, I don't believe that self-doubt ever disappears. We have shreds of it. It's always within us. The difference, I think, as you gain wisdom through aging, right? You learn how to move through it faster. It doesn't debilitate you. It doesn't keep you stuck. You said, oh, there it is. What do I need to do? What tools do I have so that I can move through it and go back to the place of feeling centered and whole and beautiful from within? So you have to redefine what beauty is, because energy is a vibration that we all feel it. Why is it that I can feel comfortable with you versus uncomfortable with someone else? Right. It's an intangible thing, but it's also you can sense it to a way where you can be drawn in more to be with someone. So when you know that, when you start to really get that, it has less to do about the physicality and more to do about how you show up. Now, does that mean I don't care about how I look? I absolutely care about how I look. But when it's not in the most perfect way and the wrinkles are showing up and the grays are showing up, I have to learn to accept that part of me and now show another part of me, so that doesn't become the attention that I'm living with.
Right.
Because what I put attention on, the universe, we've all heard, this whole thing of manifestation. But if we think about our environment and our universe is reflective. So it doesn't give us what we want. It gives us who we are. So if we can start being more of what we'd like to draw in, then that will come in. So it's really like you have to look at yourself, so that it's not, why is that person that? Then you say, well, who am I to allow that to be drawn towards me? So that means whatever that's going to mean. Does it mean setting clearer boundaries? Does it mean being more open? Does it mean being more self-assured in different ways? So you're always looking for that, so that you get clear on drawing more of what you want by changing who you are. Does that make sense?
Yeah, totally. I think, if there was if there was one positive of COVID, one, I think it caused people to slow down. It caused people to really plug in and look at themselves. I mean, the people that wanted to do that kind of work, right? To be home and just kind of, because I think as human beings, we're always striving for balance. And it's like, well, what is balance or purpose? Or what is my purpose in life? And then sometimes balance can turn into, when you get to certain ages or looking at like, what should I be doing? That becomes limits, like limitations, right? So it's like certain age and how you should dress, or maybe even people coming into the dance studio, taking lessons and being like, I'm a 50-year-old woman. Do I deserve to be sensual, or am I going to look foolish? Or, so I think with what you're doing, and then of course still, I love the fact that you're doing what you're doing, but you're so passionate still about dancing that you've never left that, and how it's kind of come together in this like beautiful like combination of the two. How would someone like wanting some of these things, like how would someone find you? Like how would they be able to connect with you to take advantage of Sensuality Secrets? What would that person need to do?
Yeah, my website, Sensuality Secrets, you go there and there's a freebies page where they can actually learn a little bit more about some of the tools that I offer for free on social media, and then I'm there, and then they could just reach out if they want to have more deeper conversation, or even just go through the site and look at what's available. I most recently created this whole charisma, I call it Sexy in Seconds, because we just focus on my charisma framework and the hypnotic walk, so that we walk all the time. So how do you step into your radiance and your beauty with every step that you take, and the things that you want to think about? And then I use imagery with the body, so because the two go together. You know how people say start with the why. If you have a why, if you have an image, then the function is more important. You made the comment about the elbow, bringing the elbow in, but there's the function of bringing the elbow in, and then there's the intent behind it. So what is the intent? Where I'm trying to literally touch an inner mystery within me. And so
I love that.
Right? Versus just bring the elbow in. And that's what people do in acting. They have to understand what is the story or meaning that I need to have within a movement, so that it becomes more captivating and I believe it, versus just the function of it, right? So first you start with function, because you have to start with that, but then you say, okay, now how do we make a simple function feel differently? So that's what I do with the walk and the charisma framework. That's one thing. My body image breakthrough. So I have a few little programs that people can look at, or they'll email me, and then that's it too.
Yeah, I think next time Virginia Beach, we have Patty come to the studio, we should do a workshop.
Yeah, that would be great.
A workshop. There have been so many things that we've talked about that I want to talk about. It's going to be like, we're going to be here till like 4 o'clock in the morning. Just be like, and, my gosh, but he'll edit this. So, there's just, even for me thinking about like just the idea of women like transitioning through different aspects of their life, and how like even in our industry, like I don't even like to tell people how old I am. And as we're sitting here and talking about and like thinking about it, I'm like, isn't that's kind of odd? Like you can look. Well, a side note, did you ever watch the show Sex and the City?
Yeah.
Years ago. Did you watch the newest one?
Yes. I just saw a couple of episodes of the newest one.
Wasn't it crazy how society and people were just judging and just attacking them, whether each character, one had too much plastic surgery, one hadn't had enough, and yet nothing about the men. The men, gray, older, but no comments. And just how cruel and judgmental people are in respect to, it's like women aren't allowed to age.
Yeah.
And that's just like a whole other.
Yeah, that's a big thing. You know, it is. It's huge. And part of it is, you know, I think also a lot of it has to do with social media allows people to be sometimes hurtful more than they would be in person. Because some of the things that people say online is something that you would never say if you're face to face with someone. So unfortunately,
it's like bullying.
The other side of that is people feel free to say things that just think before you type. Because that has energy and hurt, right? And so be impeccable with your word, and all those people just don't do that. So that's one thing. I think when you're in something like where they are, especially into the spotlight, part of it becomes anytime you're in any kind of, the bigger and brighter you become, the more you have to be ready for things that are going to be thrown at you. Because some people are going to love you and some people are going to hate you. Because you're just becoming this bigger, brighter, you know, leader in whatever way. So then there's that side, and then there's within that the work is for you as, you know, there's that balance of standing for something when you that you don't believe in, that is incorrect, and you have to speak and say it, and then there's the part of it where you have to be able to repel it and just not let it come into you, right? And so I'm saying all this because I'm getting to the place where, as I'm more in midlife, as you can see, because my hair, I was talking to you about this, right? I lightened my hair because I want to step into my gray. It's become more trendy now. So I was like, I think this is my opening. I think this is my opening to say, Patty, you could do it because it's a thing. Right. A lot of women are doing it. So, you know, can I step into that? And so I decided to do that as a way to embrace, for me, it's like, I think I'm going to look good in it, actually. I'm going to look good in it. In the meantime, though, there's going to be a couple of years of awkwardness. And it's hard because you look in the mirror and you're like, oh, I don't know, all the time. And those are the moments where I have to talk to myself and say, there's more to me than that. Right. I'm still going to work towards making the best version of that, because I do believe self-care is a reminder of how you feel inside. Yep. So I do care about my physical body because it's a container for my spirit and my soul, so I'm not going to just let it be. Right. But I'm also not going to let it, you know, I'm not going to hide. I want to transition through that. So part of this is, okay, this is going to be part of it. So like literally every time I look in the mirror, I'm like, God, what were you thinking? Okay, no, I'm going to go, okay,
there's a reason.
This is the reason. And it's going to take a while till I get used to my own inner duality of, should I do this, should I not? Because the mirror, and our business is all about mirrors, is a constant reminder of, oh my God. So this was part of that journey too, is to say, I want to do this because I feel like now's the right time, especially because there's so many trailblazers ahead of me that are doing it. Right. I was like, these women look great. And it's making me step more into a different type of power, if that makes any sense.
Totally. It's even interesting, like, thinking about that as women, that you feel it necessary to explain yourself, right? Like, this is what I'm doing. Where men, you know, gray or they're partial or whatever, there's no explanation. But as women, it's like, that internal, it's like we just feel like we have to explain ourselves, which is interesting. And you're right, like we always tell our students, right, like the mirror is a tool. Too often it's used for judgment, to look at ourselves, and you could look at yourself and be like, I hate this, this, and this, and someone else would be like, but you look, I love this about you, and we're just so self-critical. There's something